Morning! Morning, everyone! See, I do listen to my comments. Anyway, you know, when you do films as often as I do, sometimes you need inspiration. Sometimes you need to pinch ideas off people. Well, anyway, I'm continuing the conversation with Scoutcrafter. He'd found one of these angle drill things, which is fine, common enough. He had a much better one in a box, a metal one. But he did mention these add-on things that you used to be able to buy to put on the end of your drill. And I'm thinking, oh, I've got one of them. It just comes along, you know what I mean? Sometimes you buy stuff just to keep, let me put my glasses on, just to keep the contact going. Well, anyway, on the same vein, on the same conversation, we were on about the enjoyment I get out of collecting. So I'm going to try to explain to you what I like about what I collect. I like to collect the odd stuff. I'll do you a quick story. Somebody had a sump plug. He couldn't find one anywhere. He couldn't find a sump plug absolutely anywhere. He tried Harold Dite. He put it all together. But I had them. I had them sitting in here. Some obscure. I'd picked them up somewhere many moons ago. And so that helped him out because his vehicle was basically off the road because he couldn't secure the thread had gone on his sump plug. So I like to collect really odd stuff. The odder the better. Who else would have? What have I done with them? Who else would collect this many little grub screws? Tiny. Can you see them? Tiny. Loads of them. Who else would collect little tiny grub screws and put them in your collection and have a bomb load of them in the stores ready for a rainy day? It's the same as this. You would have something like these. It's in an old jar. I've had them for years and years. Somebody somewhere is desperate to find something like one of those little stainless steel bolts of that shape. It's the same. If it's got an odd shape, I'll always pick it up. If it's something I've not seen before, I'll always say, oh yeah, I'll have a dozen of them or whatever. Usually they're one-offs. Usually they're just, you know, the wife throwing out something of the husband, or they're in boxes and you don't pay much for them. But that's what I like to. All your standard AF, Whitworth, nuts and bolts, stuff you can pretty much buy everywhere. I like to collect the stuff that you don't see very often. And it's the same as when I strip something. I mean, look at the beauty. Look at this. This is out of some vintage machine. I strip everything, the parts of everything, because beautifully made. And I keep things in tins. Yeah. Can you imagine a modern factory wanting to make one of them in one of their machines? They'd never make it anywhere near as lovely as that, would they? And down here, look, I keep the oddest, weirdest nuts and bolts. I strip everything and keep them in Rosie's tins. So I hope I haven't taken up too much of your time, but part of the enjoyment I have is collecting the oddest, weirdest things that hardly would never be used. But one day somebody comes along and goes, oh, Reg, I'm desperate. I've looked everywhere. I've waited for years and years and I've got it here sitting on a shelf somewhere. The problem is finding it. So anyway, that's what the enjoyment I get out of my collection.